and we are here to have an interactive live chat on the dancing body. And basically, we are discussing here the very core questions in the context of fitness that all dancers of all generations kind of face, and we haven't found out solutions. So I'm going to start my first question with a very basic point is, what is a warm-up and what is a cool-down? That is question one. And why is it important for dancers to do a warm-up, and whether it's important for them to cool down?
Okay, it's a good question. Yeah, so I want to tell you all, warm up and cool down are extremely important. It's extremely important. You can actually note it down. And I have seen, actually not me, but it's shown in the researches as well, that only 50% of the people are actually do a warm up. And there are no researches which say people actually do cool down. So I am telling you all to do a warm up. So in short, I will tell you how important warm up is, and like how you can go about it in brief. So so warm up is basically done. So when you do warm up, it increases your body temperature gradually. Okay. So when your body temperature rises, your heart rate rises, and so as your circulation. Now for exercises, your body needs energy. So to fulfill that energy demands, your oxygen demand by the body also increases. As the temperature goes up, the oxygen extraction from the hemoglobin is more when the temperature of the body is more. So that's why, that is the main thing why you should do a warm up. Okay. And warm up also increases your performance, and yeah, it is helpful to you both mentally as well as physically. It improves your coordination, it makes your movement freer, and your joints basically your joints freer. That's why it's really important for you to warm up. And I would say that for a professional dancer who's been dancing for at least 4 to 5 days a week, then for that person, 30 minutes of warm-up is extremely important. Yeah.
Yeah, so now at this point, I must bring some very fundamental practical issues. 90% of dancers or dance schools are run in rented spaces. And normally the batches are back-to-back, or one-on-one classes might also be back-to-back. In such a situation, what probably happens is the teacher or the student would like to focus on the actual dancing in that 1 hour, and rather than have a half an hour warm up within that hour and half an hour, so we are finished with that whole hour itself. So what could be a practical practical solution to this? Would you advise dancers to cycle to their dance classes so that they're already done with their warm-up in the half hour of cycling, and then maybe while the next batch begins, they can continue with their cool downs within the class? Do you think there is some such solution which we can suggest where the 1 hour of dancing does not really get affected by that whole warm-up, or get occupied by the warm-up and the cool down?
Okay. Yeah. So this I was talking about the professional dancers, like
Right.
practice for 4 to 5 days a week, and whose session is for like 3 hours, like who practice for 3 hours. But who are like the beginners, or who practice only for an hour or so, then 15 to 20 minutes is more than enough. Cycling, yes, cycling can be done. Like they can come they can come by a cycle, and like, yeah, they can come, but you also need at least 5 to 10 minutes of stretching before you start with any dance session. So along with a little bit of some activities like cycling, or other activities, maybe a shadow practice or something, you can actually grab a racket and practice strokes, 3 strokes.
That's called a shadow practice, is it?
That's like very common among the sportsmen. They actually do shadow practice. Even you can do it, so that there is more opening of the upper body. It is really, really important. And I would say for warm up should involve those kind of activities I mean, those joints where, in which you're going to, like,
Utilize them over and over.
no, if your dance, like the main dance session is about footwork, then your warm-ups should also change accordingly. Then you should do more of spot marching, some body squats, something of the lower limb. So your lower limb gets, acquainted, or they get,
Right.
used to exercises. So that way
Right.
your warm-up should be formed.
So basically, what you're probably trying to say is that the dancers, the full-time dancers, should be able to understand that which particular muscle or joints are going to be utilized more than the others. And if that is the case, that is the point, then probably those muscles and joints should be focused in warming up more because they are going to be utilized more. Because otherwise, if the warm up is probably focusing on other muscles and joints, that then while you are practicing or rehearsing, those muscles which need to be warmed up are not warmed up, and you might get an injury because of this.
Yes, exactly.
So for the full-time dance, now this is a brilliant point which came up with. We are probably categorizing into two sections. One section where we are saying people who are not full-time dancers, who are hobby learners or hobby practitioners, and probably dance 1 hour a week. And there's the second section which are practicing almost 3 to 4 hours every day. So those who are practicing 3 to 4 hours a day will have to add another 60 minutes, which includes 30 minutes of warm up and again 30 minutes of no.
See, 30 minutes of warm up. I'll just, I'll tell you how to go about a warm up. So in that 30 minutes of warm up, you can do 15 minutes of stretches, like static stretches, or also you can incorporate the yogasanas. Yogasanas is a perfect exercise for warm ups, and you get a good stretch that way. So 15 minutes. From the 30 minutes, you should incorporate stretches, and the next 15 minutes, you should involve the other joint movements, like as I said, spot marching, free squat, shadow practice, and all those things should come in the next 15 minutes.
So what is the balance of static and dynamic?
I cannot hear you.
A balance of static and dynamic is what you are kind of focusing on. Am I right? Static
yes,
and dynamic.
Yes.
Correct.
So we cannot hear
you. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Sorry?
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So Madhumita Sathe from our group has asked, can we do Surya Namaskars as warm-up? What do you think? So we have a, okay, yeah, 1 sec. I'll do one thing. I'll probably shift to another network and probably we can get a clear clarity in it. Give me okay. 5 to 10 seconds to get that. Yes. Now is it audible?
Yeah.
Right. So one of the viewers asked the question: can Surya Namaskars can be used as a warm up or not? What do you think?
Yes, they can be, but make sure they are not done at a faster speed. Slow speed, and where you're getting good stretch and all the joints are nicely stretched, and yeah, you can do it as long as it is done slower.
Yes.
Make sure that after a warm up, you don't feel tired. You should feel relaxed, and you should be ready for the dance session. You shouldn't feel tired about the warm up.
Yeah, so the warm up should not be a workout in itself. That is what you're trying to hint at. The warm up should just be the trigger, should just be the stimulant, and it should not really be a workout in itself. Exactly. How do you get that? How do you distinguish that? When do you exactly understand that, oh, I think probably I'm overdoing the warm-up? What could be the markers there? What are the signals there?
So that time, so what can happen? The fatigue level. When your heart rate increases to such a level that you're literally, not able to speak or like literally
You're
breathing.
panting for breath. You're panting for breath is what you're trying to say.
So like all the shallow breaths when they come, or as you increase the repetition, the quality of the movement decreases, as well as there is slowing of the movement which automatically occurs. So those are a couple of signs of fatigue. So that time you will realize that it's not a warm up, but it's a part of my exercise session which is gotten
Converted into that. Excellent point there. Now coming to back to the cool down, what you should focus on a cool down normally, and this is very common that nobody focuses on a cool down. Everybody just wraps up their boots and gets back to their home and starts probably going to their next activity, which might be their college or which might be eating food. So when should one consume food after a rehearsal, and when how much duration should one really have a cool down if one is dancing for 3 hours and if one is dancing for an hour or so? How do you weigh that?
Okay. So basically, let me tell you, all the dancers out there, warm up is cool down is as equally important as a warm up, because what happens is, I'll tell you in short what basic physiological changes which occur when you don't do a cool down. Okay, so when if you stop any activity like the dancing suddenly, then there is pooling of the blood in the muscles in the periphery. Then there is no return. Then the blood doesn't return to the vital organs like heart, brain. Then you can have serious problems like fainting attack or dizziness or such kind of problems, which can be very, which is not really good, and it can be harmful. Secondly, so what happens is if the activity ceases suddenly, there is accumulation of waste products called as lactic acid, which when is formed causes the muscles the muscles become more stiff, and the soreness of the muscles then starts developing. So that's the reason, because of the lactic acid which forms if you cease the activity suddenly, then you will get muscle stiffness and muscle soreness. That's why it's really important, like, cool down. Also, when you cool down, the respiratory rate, the heart rate gradually decrease, and then the warm-up reaction actually reverses. And slowly and gradually you can, again get back to normal. And so a minimum cool down of 5 to 10 minutes, just 5 to 10 minutes, and it's more than enough for everybody.
So when you say cool down of 5 to 10 minutes, are you also suggesting that you should be stretching within those 10 minutes, or you should be lying in shavasana or just doing pranayam? What are the hinters there? What is the hint there?
Okay,
what are the pointers there? Sorry.
Yeah, you should do stretching. For Bharatnatyam, what I found out was Padahastasana and what is that? Udhastasana are extremely important asanas which you can do during cool down.
So Uttanasana is basically taking the belt and stretching your ankle, basically stretching your leg. Urdhva that's what you're trying to say, or Uttanasana itself, where even if you're sitting or sitting on the floor, you just stretch and make sure that you stretch till your foot. Yes, and if you can rest your head to the knee, even that is preferable, right?
So
okay.
That can be done in sitting or in standing as well. So,
right.
Yeah. So these are two asanas you can do during cool down.
Yes, somebody called Bhasha has inquired about dance injuries in Bharatanatyam, but we are going to come to injuries part later. I'm going to still continue with the preliminary questions. So there is also this very common opinion that if you're dancing, you don't really need fitness, especially who are full-time professional dancers. That, if you're dancing takes care of all the fitness. So is this a myth or is this a reality? How will you answer this question?
It's totally a myth. It is myth. See, when your body remains fit when there is a combination of aerobic, like strengthening, like cardio, strength training, and flexibility. Then only your body remains fit, and all the systems remain, all the body systems remain fit. So your dance, like Bharatnatyam, is full of cardio. Like it is the entire cardio session. But that's why you definitely need a weight training session. I would suggest at least 3 days a week. 3 days a week,
Right.
minimum 3 days a week. Weight training session is extremely important. So, weight training, why, and I will tell you both. So, what weight training does is it increases the quality of bone. It increases the bone mineral density. It increases the it basically it decreases the fat percentage, and it increases the lean body mass of the body. Yeah. And so what happens is, so in Bharatnatyam, you tend to perform maximum movements in a particular posture. For example, say Arai Mandi. So most of the movements are performed in the Arai Mandi posture. To maintain that posture, you need a couple of you need a few muscles. But the muscles, the opposite set of muscles remain weak. For example, your abdominal, your butt muscles,
Right.
the muscles of
Right.
the front thigh and the inner muscles of the thigh remain weak because they are
Correct.
not muscles which get activated during the movement. So I would say that strengthening of these muscles is extremely
Right.
important. And but along with that, also the other muscles which are helping you to attain that posture are also important. So yeah, it should be a planned session, a structured strength training program which involves both set of muscles. But obviously, the intensity and the duration for each set of muscles will differ.
Right.
That's it.
So
So
here I have one point. Strength training, mostly strength training is with weights, but there are so many dancers who are kind of scared going to the gym and trying out weights because primarily one point is they're afraid that the weights might make their muscles more rigid. Point number two, they're also afraid by the fact that if they are doing it on their own, they might injure themselves more rather than give them strength. They might injure themselves, and probably there's also this thing that if you want a fitness trainer, automatically your budget inflates. And for young dancers who are just like a startup, it is not probably smart for them to invest in a gym, which probably a dancer who's post 35 can do that, or in a private instructor. So there are these options of TheraBands, and there are these options of your own body weights. So what are the options here? If a person doesn't want to do weight training with weights, are there any other options which can be worked out?
okay. So what you can do is, yes, body weight exercises are extremely beneficial and they're quite sufficient to some extent. So what you can do,
Mhm.
you can increase the number of repetitions which you are doing. Okay. And for every muscle there are like hundreds of exercises. Literally, there are hundreds of exercises for each muscle. So what you can do is you can change the muscle exercises every time or every month or something, and like learn new exercises to. So what you can do is with the body weight exercises, you can increase the number of repetitions. You
Right, right.
more like if you're squatting, you can increase the time. Like you can go into a squat hold and increase the duration each time you do something. So it's
Yes.
definitely going to help you to some extent. But then there comes a point where you do everything and you really need to increase your strength. Then comes
Mm.
the then you should actually go to like you can just buy dumbbells, or maybe what you can do is you can fill bottles, like literally bottles, 1 liter, 2 liter
One
bottles,
liter bottles,
and
yeah, and then do weight training with that.
that is
Right.
that's it. But
So what I have actually understood right now from your answer is that the best point or the best solution is to join a gym, because that will give you the proper weight training with weights, and your muscles will get a certain path. But if something is better than nothing, then you have the option of doing it with just body weight and with bottles. That's what you're trying to suggest.
if we all are dancers, we can be very much creative. So we can do anything, like literally, like
Right.
we can be very much creative.
Absolutely. So you have clearly stated 3 points. That is weight training, flexibility, and strength. So strength, flexibility, and I think there was third, cardio. Cardio, strength, and flexibility. That is the whole holistic map of fitness, which makes your body stable and keeps it going.
Yes, exactly.
Now we come to a very interesting point, which both of you raised yesterday, and I was pretty surprised by that point, and that is the fitness level or the bodies of males and females. How do they work? So do you think male bodies and their fitness regimen is going to be different than the female bodies and their regimen? Who would like to answer that question? Apurva, right?
When we see a male body as compared to a female body, there is less mass in the female body. So if we start weight training in the case of female, we can't do much progression after a certain extent because considering overall body composition, we can't cross a threshold so as to injure them. So
right.
In case of female, we have to go with lesser intensity, and you can progress till some extent, but not much as compared to male.
Exactly, but you still advise strength training for females also. That is one point which probably our female viewers would like to know, and that, well, females, I have heard these very random statements that no. I remember 4 or 5 years back, one of my colleagues said, oh no, I don't go to the gym, I don't want to end up having biceps. And the fact that females have estrogen and males have testosterone itself clearly proves that females are not going to end up having biceps. Pretty clear from their basic constitution and basic physiology. Right. So one thing which people also would like to know, and that is in case of Bharatanatyam, in case of Bharatanatyam and Kathak, what is the right age to start your dance? That is for children especially. Because I remember during 1980s when we started dance, and I remember my colleagues too, everybody started their dance at around 6. I started at the age of 4.5. So, this is quite an alarming thing today, that when today we clearly state that beyond 7 is the age for to start. So what is exactly the reason behind starting post 7, and is 7 the right age?
Yeah. So you can start dancing as early as 5 years of age, and no problem. As long as the child, or the kid, is understanding whatever has been taught to him or her, he can start. But the difference is that start with, do not it's not suggested that you should start with them take their session for an hour or so. You should start with 30-minute session and gradually increase it. So that way they will learn everything. And one more point is, for them, even warm up and cool down is equally important. But here, you do not stress up upon the structured strengthening protocol. There, you can tell their parents that you can incorporate them into they are age specific physical activities, some playground
activity. Got it. Some playground activity. Correct.
Yeah. So you can tell their parents, because chances of fracture in these below 10 years of age are quite high, because the skeletal growth is immature. That's
right.
Why you shouldn't stress those children so much, but you can start at as early as 5 years of age.
Yes. And in the context of Bharatanatyam, what do you think is the right age for an Arangetram? Do you think there is a right age for an Arangetram? What, for a 1.5 hour performance, 2.5 hour performance, what do you think is the right age for an Arangetram?
Yes, definitely. There's an age for Arangetram. So Arangetram requires lots and lots of practice, I believe. And 3-4 hours a day, maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So
yeah, of course. It requires definitely 2 hours every day. for a span of 6 months. That is what normally the schedule is. But it depends. For example, group arrangements is altogether a different question. So right now we are assuming that we are talking about a solo arrangement.
Okay. So I would suggest that after 17 or 18 years of age, one should go for Arangetram. Why? Because during the adolescent period, the muscle length and the bone length are not equal. Okay. So what can happen is there can be overstressing or overstraining of the muscle. And there are researches which say that girls have, specifically girls have, have had night pains because of extra practice and the excessive muscle strain. So it is so it is suggested that they should go for an Arangetram after the age of 18 or 17 or 18 when their growth is complete. When we are talking about girls, actually.
Right.
So that's
exactly
the reason why you should, start after, do it after 18 years of age.
Perfect. And now I'm linking this question to the point yesterday which Apurva raised, was that when you have a performance approaching and when you don't have a performance approaching, in both these conditions, do you think the workout needs to be different?
Yes. According to the show or the dance which the artist is going to perform, the workout should change. So if we have more of nritta in the show, so we have to have great endurance and cardio strength. So and also great strength of the lower limb. So we should do more of such exercises to increase the strength and the endurance. But if your show has more of abhinay component, then it is okay if you force if you give less emphasis on the strengthening. But you have to have good endurance because you have to be on the stage for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
According to the compositions or the nritta and
the repertoire, correct. So basically what you're trying to say, what you're trying to say is when a program is approaching, for example, let's take an example where a program is approaching for me in 1 month. I know it's not, we are in a lockdown period, but that's a hypothetical situation. And in that 1 month period, and another hypothetical situation where in 2 months, probably I'm going to perform. So my workout in this 1 month, which should help me in increasing my strength, right? Whereas in the context of my performance, which is going to come after 2 months, probably my first month could be a bit relaxed, a bit normal, and in the second month, it could slightly go from level 1 to probably level 3 or 4, so that I can deliver the right amount of energy and the right amount of fitness for the performance which I'm going to approach. Now, this is a very interesting point which you're saying, is to analyze the component of my performance, basically whether it's how much is nritta and how much is abhinaya, how much is nritta. Accordingly, I decide my fitness regimen for my warm-up. That is what you're suggesting. Now, there was a very interesting question raised by one of the viewers, is what I'm done rehearsing in the morning, in the evening, both the times. Am I supposed to also do a warm-up for the morning rehearsal and also morning warm-up for the evening rehearsal? What do you think?
Okay. Somebody who's rehearsing twice a day.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
There are people in India, there are companies in India, and there are groups in India which practice. Okay, I'm going to link 2-3 questions here. I have heard about groups who practice from morning 9 to 1 and again practice from 2 to 7. Okay. So that is the kind of practice which they indulge in. So now we are coming to a very valid and interesting question, is how many hours of practice can your body take? That is point number 1. And point number 2, if your practice is divided in 2 sessions of morning and evening, how much is the same amount of warm-up important? Is the same amount of warm-up important equally in the morning and the evening? What would you suggest?
Yes. Let me get to first question. So
right.
That was, I think, how many hours a dancer should be doing, should be dancing.
Right.
Like for a dancer, it is extremely important that he gives enough amount of rest. he should give enough time to the body to recover. So, like if you're dancing, like how much we have talked till now, you will be having one session of exercise and one session of dance. So for the dance period, dance session, a dance for a professional dancer, I would suggest that 3 hours of training is more than enough. 3 hours of a dancing session. But there also comes a point where you shouldn't stress your body to such a level that you're continuously dancing for 3 hours. So what you call like 1 hour 30 minutes. That is also quite a lot. You're dancing like you're doing cardio for 90 minutes, which is actually a lot. So after a period of say 1.5 hours, you should take a break of 30 minutes and then do the next session. Now in that period, what you can do is you can completely give rest to the body, or you can again do some stretch. Let me tell you, stretches are very important when it comes to dancing. It is very
Right.
important. So you can do some counter stretches, or you can completely rest. And keep in mind that you have to hydrate your body whenever possible. Also,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So this 3 hours of practice should be done 4 to 5 days a week. Okay, 5 days a week is also more than enough, but you shouldn't extend more than 5 days a week. Even if you're a professional dancer, if for your body it's not beneficial.
Right. So
Till 20 years of age, there can be a few variations in strength training and other exercises. But after 20 to say 50 to 60 years of age, you should the exercise for everybody remain the same. But the intensity will differ according to the individual. How much an individual can take. Obviously, one thing comes here is that you cannot stress, or you cannot stress an individual with say I can do with 10 kgs and he can do with 15 kgs, but I'm not going to stress myself with 15 kgs. I will improve the repetition, but I will understand my own strength and work accordingly. So that way, after 20 years of age, the protocol remains more or less the same. Yeah, and
yeah.
so it is also said that the strength and endurance goes on decreasing as you age. So it's actually said that after 30 years of age, muscle fibers start to deteriorate. But
Right.
yeah. So
Okay.
you're regularly exercising, regularly doing all three kinds of exercises, as I said, cardio, strength training, and flexibility. You will remain active for long periods, and you can continue with dancing for longer period of time. And
Yes.
the
That's really important.
research has also shown that if you're doing exercises from a very early age, the strength or the muscle fibers which are getting the muscle mass which is getting deteriorated, the rate of deterioration slows down. So
Right. So it's also related to that. Coming back to a very another point here, which I want to probably somebody here also mentioned about it, that when it comes to females and when it comes to females who have come into their adolescent age, they go through a regular cycle of periods. And there are some girls who can handle that very well and they can dance and face it. And there are some girls who cannot. So do you advise fitness when the girls go through the phase of periods, or do you advise them not to? Because I've always seen this difference between some people who can really take it well and they don't face any problems, whereas there are some girls who just cannot and say, sir, I have my periods, I would like to sit down today. So what is the kind of fitness regimen would you like to advise to such girls?
Okay, so basically, if you have good diet and a good fitness exercise for a month, you won't feel pain on those 5 days. So if you have
Right.
pain, then there is no issue of compromising on the practice. But let's consider that you still have pain after some exercise and a good diet. Then first of all, I will suggest that you should not stop exercises for those 4 or 5 days, because point number one, let's imagine that you have some performance on those days, then you can't say no that I have my periods and I can't
I'm
perform.
not going to perform.
So you just have to have a habit to your body to exercise on those days. Second thing is, if due to pain you are not able to do high intensity exercises, then it's okay, but you should not leave touch of the exercise. So I will suggest that you can do light walking, cardio, so that the hormone which is known as endorphin, which is a happy hormone, which is a pain killer. So
Right.
once we start exercising, endorphin will increase, and it will suppress the pain. So if you have cramp or pain during periods, then it might reduce due to this hormone. Second thing is, along with this, you can start yoga and Pilates, which is very, very useful. First thing, it will help you for the relaxation of the mind as well as body. Second thing is, there are certain exercises in Pilates which are specifically designed for cramp pain. So if you know those exercises, then you should start them. And the third thing is, due to yoga, the overall muscles will get stretched, and there is a kind of soothing effect for the muscles, which will keep your whole body relaxed, and it will also help to avoid the mood swings. It will elevate your mood, and once you have a calm mind and a physically fit body, you won't give any excuses for the dance practice and the exercise. And the last point which I have to mention is, like, imagine if you are not doing anything for the 5 days, and you will do suddenly some exercise or dance on the 6th day, then it is not possible for your body to take that much of stress after a gap of 5 days. So you can't stress your body that much. So if it is not possible to do heavy exercises, then for dancers, I will suggest them you can do some basic adavus or some basic choreographies like Pushpanjali, Alaripu, which don't have much of like physical activity. And also you can practice some abhinay composition, in which you don't stress your body much, and along with that you will have some touch with the dance. So the basic
Right.
point is, don't stop any practice or any exercise during your periods. Just try to tolerate that pain, and once you start exercising, your body will help you to reduce that pain.
Tolerate it. So basically, what you're suggesting, Apurva, is to be tenacious. And once your body becomes tenacious, once you help the body to increase the tenacity, automatically the mind follows suit. And once the mind follows suit, both mind and body coordination works out well for fitness and for dance as well. I'm also addressing certain questions of the viewers. Just to remind you of all the viewers, that we are not taking questions on diet right now, because we are totally focusing on fitness. But in the coming Sunday sessions, we will be having a session on diet too. We'll be discussing about. Yesterday, we discussed about trend in Bharatanatyam, and the recent trend in Bharatanatyam, 2 points which I've noticed, and that is the whole obsession with Arpandi, which is fine. That's the basic technique, so I can't help it. But in that obsession of Aramandi, there are two tricks which dancers are playing with. One is increasing the distance between the 2 feet slightly more than just about 4 fingers, but more, making it slightly 6 or 8 fingers, and or maybe more, and sitting more. Okay, that is one way they are trying to achieve that plie position, pushing yourself down. And the second solution which they are going for is, I call it the illusory aramendi position, which is basically you do a tarikatatum adevu or ginatum adevu, especially tarikatatum adevu, and suddenly you raise the heels and make it look like you're sitting a lot, but actually you're sitting in almost 3/4 position. So is the first or the second position advisable or not for long-term longevity?
Okay, so in the first case, I don't think any of the Bharatnatyam style will suggest that you have to keep distance more than 4 or 5 fingers. The Bharatnatyam is basically known for its Aramandi position, which is very composed and
And taut, very taut.
Yes, it's very taut,
Right.
and it looks aesthetically good. So no one will suggest basically to keep the distance more than 4 or 5 fingers. This is point one. And the second point is raising your heel off from the floor. So the basic reason for raising your heel off from the floor is tightness of two muscles, the one which is present behind the thigh, that is hamstring, and the one which is at the ankle, that is heel. So these two muscles have tightness, and because of which the dancer tend to lift her heel off. And also there are certain researches which proves that the Bharatanatyam dancers have hamstring and TA tightness as compared to the other muscle. So if we as we said, we have to give focus on the stretching in the cool down as well as in the warm up, so as to avoid those tightness and to avoid such trick movements while performing the dance. Second point is this is one, and the second point about the heel off is if you are doing certain change in the ankle, our whole body is a chain, like starting from spine to the ankle, it is a chain. So if we do a trick movement at knee joint, it is very prone to have some effect or stress on the remaining joints of the body. So if you are doing something which is not physiological or something which is not ethical, aesthetically
Discipline.
good, discipline.
Yeah.
So it is natural to have more stresses on the knee as well as on the hip and the back, and which will predispose to pain of some of the joints will have pain, and the tightness might increase further. So
Right.
according to me, we shouldn't practice such things, and we
Right.
should give more focus on the cool down and stretching.
Right. So we only have 1 hour for our Insta session. So this has been a wonderful session, and thank you so much, both of you, Manasi and Apurva, Dr. Manasi and Dr. Apurva. Dr. Apurva is a student of Bharatanatyam, has been learning at my school, and Dr. Manasi is a student of Kathak as well. And that is the benefit of having physiotherapists who are dancers too, who understand the physiology and the psychology of dancers. So we have noted down the questions right now, and we'll be discussing how we are going to deal with these. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., we are going to come back with our session on the answers to your questions. So stay tuned tomorrow at 6 p.m. Both Dr. Manasi and Dr. Apurva will address the answers to your questions. Thank you so much, viewers, and thank you, Manasi, and thank you, Apurva, for making this session very enriching and very, very interesting. Thank you.
It's a good opportunity to increase the awareness of exercises and importance of physiotherapy in the field of dance. So it is always said that sportsmen are the people who need physiotherapy, but dancers, they are always doing something, and they need dance. They are always performing something. They need a physiotherapist.
Right.
They need a good set of exercises and a structured program. So yeah, it's a really
Yes.
good form to increase the awareness amongst the dancers.
Absolutely, and I definitely recommend physiotherapists who will guide you all your way along in life to evolve and design a routine which is suitable for your dance, which probably an instructor or a sports instructor might not be able to do, because a physiotherapist becomes a very, very personalized approach, and he or she understands what exactly is required. So thank you very much, Manasi, and thank you very much, Apurva. See you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. with the answers to your questions. Thank you.
Like